Today, folks, we're looking at Google Docs. So Google Docs is everywhere. We know it has become one of the alternatives for Microsoft Word, and it is liked especially for collaboration. But what if you're like me and you depend on a screen reader? Would you be able to use Google Docs? Of course. Today, I'm going to show you how to turn Google Docs into an accessible workspace and be able to use it. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome back to Blind Accessibility Tips. A reminder that you can always check our website at blindaccessibilitytips.com, and there is where you can find, among a myriad of other things that you can do for blind and visually impaired persons, you can find a free course teaching blind and visually impaired persons how to use their computer, fundamental lessons that you need, and learning how to just get up and running with your computer. Okay, so today we're starting a series with Google Docs, and we're going to be showing you how to use Google Docs for creating documents and sharing throughout this entire series. For this particular video though, I'm going to be showing you how to navigate the Google Docs interface comfortably, type up your document and do some basic formatting on it, as well as rename the file. Alright, so let us just jump right into it. Okay, so first things first, we need to get to Google Docs. Now, Google Docs is not like Microsoft Word, where it's a standalone app. To get to Google Docs, you actually have to go through your web browser. Now, my web browser of choice is Chrome, but it does work in the other popular ones, Firefox and Microsoft Edge. And of course, I believe I will get the best experience in Chrome because, of course, Google created both. Pressing my Windows key.
Search window. Search box at C. Google Chrome app. Press right to view options 1 of 4. Google Chrome window.
So there are actually two ways to get to Google Docs. You can either go to Docs.google.com or just type in Docs.new. Usually when you type in Docs.google.com, sometimes you get the home page where you can either navigate with your arrow keys or your tab key to get to the blank page button and then press enter. And after pressing enter, you would then be placed into a brand new Docs document. But sometimes I find even typing in Docs.google.com still takes you to a brand new Docs page instead of the home page. So you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and use the shorter web address, which is Docs.new. Typing that in.
CS.NEW. W unselect Docs.new selected. Untitled document. Document content edit multi-line blank.
And there we are, a brand new Docs document. Now that we're in Docs, we need to firstly activate the screen reader mode. And that will of course allow our screen reader to be able to move through and give us proper information from the document like we would have as if we're working in Microsoft Word. We are also going to enable the braille mode. And yes, that mode helps, especially if you have a braille display using. But even if you don't, the braille mode actually allows your screen reader to move better or move more predictably in Google Docs, especially if you're using like tables and so on in Google Docs. Now, to turn on both of those modes, we're going to use the quick keyboard shortcuts. To turn on or enable the screen reader mode, the keyboard shortcut is Ctrl-Alt-Z or Z. Let me press that.
Screen reader support enabled. Blank.
Alright, and you heard that, screen reader support enabled. Now let us also turn on braille mode. The keyboard shortcut is Ctrl-Alt-H. Let me press that.
Document content edit multi-line.
Let me press it again because we hardly heard it a while ago. Let me press the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-Alt-H again.
Braille support disabled. Blank.
And it says disabled, so I'm going to press it again so that we hear it go back on.
Document content edit multi-line.
And you heard NVDA trying to tell us that the braille mode is on, but then it quickly switches into focus mode and doesn't complete the sentence. But we can be assured that braille mode is actually now on. Now, sometimes these keyboard shortcuts do give trouble inside Google Docs. So later when we start learning how to use the menus, I'm going to show you how you can use an alternative way to turn on both screen reader support and braille support. And in there we will also be able to see for sure that both modes are indeed enabled. Okay, now that we have ensured that Google Docs is accessible to us and our screen reader, let's now understand the interface of Google Docs. Google Docs has four now main areas. And to get around the different areas, you can use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-Alt-Dot, right? So firstly, of course, right now we're in the regular edit area where we can go ahead and type if we want. Now if we press the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-Alt-Dot or full stop or period, same thing. Let's press it.
Menu bar banner landmark.
It goes to the menu bar, right? Let me press it again.
Show side panel toggle button pressed.
and that is the side panel. Now this is a new section. The side panel is fairly new, and I don't know how accessible it is, so we're not going to spend much time with that. Let me press Ctrl Alt Dot again.
Document region. Document.
And we're back to the document region where of course we type. So one of the areas, which is another important area of Google Docs that keyboard shortcut didn't take us to, was the toolbar. But we're going to learn how to get to the toolbar without that keyboard shortcut, because once you can access the menus, then you can eventually get to the toolbar. So basically, four main areas: the regular editable area where we can type, the menus, the toolbar, and then also a section that I told you is fairly new, which is the side panel. Now let's work with the different areas. Okay, we're in the editable area. As usual, you can go ahead and type your sentences like you would in any other word processor. Let me go ahead and type something now. Okay, I have typed some text, and as usual, like in any other word processor or like in Microsoft Word, your regular reading keys that you use with your screen reader will work. And I'm going to press down arrow.
Google Docs works great with my screen reader.
So your regular text navigation keys will work. If you do not know those keys, I will drop a link to the video that I did teaching the reading keys to use with NVDA. I will drop it in the description. Also, learning how to understand your cursor and how it moves, knowing how to use the backspace key as opposed to the delete key when fixing errors in your text. I will drop the link to that video in the description as well. Now let's move on. We know that yes, pressing Ctrl Alt Dot will eventually get us through the different sections of the interface. But suppose we just need to get to the menu. But you know, of course, we don't want to keep doing that. That is just for us to understand how the interface is set up. But we do need to know how to access the menus quickly, because we're gonna, of course, need to go into the menus to access different options to get different things done. Now, in other apps, pressing the Alt key would allow us to access the menus, right? But of course, we are accessing Google Docs through our web browser, which is Chrome in this case. If you press Alt, it's going to activate the menus for the Chrome web browser, which means that to get to the menu for Google Docs, you can't just press Alt. You'd have to either press the Ctrl Alt Dot as we had used before, or press the keyboard shortcut for any one of the items in the menus and then use your left or right arrow to navigate to the other items in the menu. So for instance, File is the first item on the menu, and the keyboard shortcut for that is Alt F. So I'm pressing Alt F now.
File submenu 1 of 9.
Other items or tabs going across this Google Docs menu, you can use your right arrow.
Edit submenu 2 of 9. View submenu 3 of 9. Insert menu submenu.
The screen reader gets cut off from saying the name of the item before going to submenu. I heard that one say insert. Let's move on again.
Format submenu 5 of 9. Tools menu submenu. Extension submenu 7 of 9. Help submenu 8 of 9.
Right, now suppose we wanted to see the options under any of these items. Let me see. Let me go back left. This one that says tools,
Extension submenu. Tool submenu 6 of 9.
Under it. So spelling and grammar.
Spelling and grammar S filled right pointing pointer submenu.
I'm going to down arrow to accessibility.
Word count W control review suggested edits compare document citations K e-signature print line numbers F1 linked objects L dictionary D trans accessibility C.
C to jump quickly to accessibility. But since I'm already here, I down arrowed to accessibility, pressing enter to activate this.
Accessibility settings dialog list. Turn on screen reader support checkbox check required for braille support and collaborator announcements.
Gone into a dialog box. And the first thing it tells us here is that screen reader support is enabled, which is what we had done. Remember, we had used the keyboard shortcut Ctrl Alt Z or Z to enable this particular setting. Let us tab through to hear the other option in this dialog box.
Learn more about screen reader support link.
Let's tab again.
List. Turn on braille support checkbox check works with third-party braille hardware.
Braille support is also enabled because it says the checkbox is checked. So of course, remember I had alluded to you before that sometimes the keyboard shortcuts Ctrl Alt Z to enable or disable screen reader support and Ctrl Alt H to enable or disable braille support. Sometimes those keyboard shortcuts give a little trouble. If you're in doubt and having any issues, you can always access the main menu and then go to Tools, down arrow to find accessibility, press enter, and then you would be here inside this dialog box where you can tab through and use your space bar to check or uncheck the checkboxes. So of course, if you open the dialog box and it immediately tells you screen reader support enabled and you want it disabled, then you can press the spacebar and it would disable it. Same thing, if you tab to braille support and it says enabled or the checkbox is checked, you can simply press spacebar to uncheck the checkbox, which would mean that braille support would be turned off. Although you're a screen reader user, believe me, you want both those options to be on. And then if you're okay with the settings in here, you can just tab to OK.
Cancel but OK button. Untitled document, Google Docs document,
Now we just access the menu by pressing Alt F, which is the keyboard shortcut for the file item on the menu. But actually all those items or tabs on the menu, file, edit, view, tools, all of those items on the menu each have their own keyboard shortcut. So yes, Alt F would access directly the file menu. But what if you wanted to go directly to the tools menu, which is where we just went to access accessibility? You would not necessarily have to press Alt F and then right arrow to find it. You could actually just use the keyboard shortcut Alt T to directly access the tools menu. Pressing that now, Alt T.
Tool submenu 6 of 9.
And then you can of course down arrow to find accessibility as you please. Let me escape out of this.
Document content edit mode.
Area. Let me see. If I wanted the edit menu instead, I could press Alt E.
Edit submenu 2 of 9.
Alt F is already used for file. So to get to format, you'd actually have to use Alt O. Pressing that now.
Format submenu 5 of 9.
Let me escape out of this.
Document region. Document content edit multi-line. I am practicing how to use it.
Now what about the toolbar? The toolbar is basically a horizontal section there where you can quickly access some frequently used options, right? Let us learn how to access the toolbar. Now to access the toolbar, we first have to access the main menu. So I'm going to press Alt F.
File submenu 1 of 9.
Then I'm going to have to press the tab key twice to get to the toolbar. Pressing it twice.
Main toolbar. Undo. Control plus Z. Button.
And you heard it announce it, main toolbar, and the first option there is undo, which of course, just like in Microsoft Word, the keyboard shortcut it announced a while ago, is Control Z or Control Z. Now, as long as you get to the toolbar, now you can use your left or right arrow keys to actually navigate through the different options on the toolbar. So I'm going to press my right arrow.
Redo. Control plus Y.
Microsoft
Button.
Word, let's right arrow.
Print. Control plus P. Button. Spelling and grammar check. Paint format toggle button. Zoom combo box collapse. Styles list submenu. Font list submenu.
I'm just showing you how to navigate it, right? Let me escape.
Blank. Document region.
There are
Application.
many options
Application.
on that toolbar for quick use. So for instance, if you wanted to do like changing the font on your text or doing certain things like bolding and so on, quick, frequently used options, you will find them on the toolbar, right? And just like in Microsoft Word, if you're going to do any formatting, of course, you know you have to first select your text and then go up into the toolbar or the main menu to find the option to do whatever you want. Suppose I wanted to bold the words screen reader. So first I would have to navigate over to those two words. I'm going to use Control right arrow to get over to those two words, reading word by word.
Google
Okay,
Docs works great with
now to
my
select
screen.
I'm going to use Control Shift right arrow to select word by word.
Screen selected. Reader selected.
All the words screen reader are selected. And now, as I said, I'm going to do more formatting in the second video in this series. But just to show you that some keyboard shortcuts that are in Microsoft Word are the same here in Google Docs. So if I want to bold these two words, they're already selected. All I would have to do is press Control B, which is of course the same in Word.
Bold apply to selection.
Now let's say I wanted to italicize the words. Yes, Control I does work here in Google Docs. But let me show you how you would go up into the menus to try to get the same thing of italicizing the text done. So I'm going to go up into the format menu, pressing Alt O.
Format submenu 5 of 9.
Then I'm going to down arrow to text and it says submenu. Press right arrow to open the submenu and then down arrow through the submenu to find the option you want and then press enter.
Text S filled right pointing pointer submenu.
And the first option there is bold, but we
bold B Control plus B.
Bold. We had already bolded our text with the keyboard shortcut Control B. Let's down arrow.
Italic I Control plus I. Italic applied to selection. Document selected. Document content.
Italic applied to selection. So that's a quick way of showing you, yes, you can use your keyboard shortcuts, or yes, you can use the menu to find different options, just like in Microsoft Word. Now, I have showed you how to access your main menu and the toolbar and so on to find different options. And of course, if you know the keyboard shortcuts to do different things, that will also even be faster. But what if you don't know the keyboard shortcut, or what if you don't know where in the main menu or toolbar to find it? Well, there's a quick way. Pressing Alt/ will actually bring up a search. Pressing that now, Alt/.
Doc menu bar banner landmark. Search the menus. Alt + toolbar.
Menus here. So whatever you want to find, all you would have to do is type it in here, and then the options would start coming up, and you could down arrow through it and enter on the one you want. So for instance, a while ago, I wanted to italicize my text. I'm going to type in italics.
List. Numbered list. Next item in the current list. Italic control plus I not selected, not checked 1 of 7.
In the word italics, and I hear it come up. If you wanted to see the other options that come up, you could down arrow through the menu that comes up under the text you have written.
Citations not selected 2 of 7.
And other different options.
Security limitations not selected 3 of 7.
That Google Docs think you might want based on the search terms that you've typed in. But you know, we were just trying to find something. Let's escape out of this.
Document content edit multi-line. Google Docs works great with my screen.
Now, what about saving? The great thing is about Google Docs, you do not have to worry about saving. Once you type, all of your information that you're putting on this document or inside this document is being automatically saved in your Google Drive. Because of course, I forgot to mention before that when you try to access Google Docs upon opening your web browser and you go to either docs.google.com or Docs.new, if you are not signed in to a Google account, then you would have to sign in, and then you'll be presented with the new Google document. So that means that once you are typing here in your new Google Docs document, it's automatically being saved in the drive of that particular Google account that you signed into. All you have to be concerned about is the name of the document. If you do not give it a name, Google Docs is going to save it as untitled document and some date, some generic name with untitled document, right? But we of course want to name our document. So let us do that now. To find rename, you'd have to find it under files. Let me press Alt F, and we are going to press down arrow.
File submenu 1 of 9. New N field right. Open O control. Make a copy C. Share S field. Email E field. Download D field. Rename R.
That's it. Pressing enter.
Rename edit selected. Google Docs works great with my screen reader. Located in my Drive Google Drive folder.
And it placed you in an edit area, and it grabbed the text from your first line to create the name of your document. But say we just wanted to call it Google Docs with my screen reader. I just want to call it that. So let me type that in.
Cap G. Unselected. O-O-G-L-E. Space. Cap D. O-C-S. W-I-T-H. Space M-Y. Space S-C-R-E-E-N. Space R-E-A-D-E-R. Google Docs with my screen reader.
After typing the name you want, just press enter.
Document. Document content edit multi-line. Google Docs works great with my screen reader.
Enter, it goes straight back to our document where we can continue to edit as we like. Now, if you press Insert T, you should hear the name of your document.
Google Docs with my screen reader. Google Docs.
That's
Google
the
Chrome.
name of your document. So now you know the name has really been changed, and it will save as such in your Google Drive where you can go and find it. That is it. That is it for this, our first video in our series, how to use Google Docs with a screen reader. In this video, you learned how to open a brand new document in Google Docs, activate screen reader friendly accessibility settings in Google Docs, navigate the different sections of the Google Docs interface, rename a Google Docs document, and of course you also learned some of the Google Docs keyboard shortcuts. I hope this video was of some benefit to you. If you do think it was of benefit to you, please feel free to leave a like on the video and share it to all those persons who you think would need the information. And if you haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button so that you will always get the videos coming through blind accessibility tips. Alright, that's it for this one. See you in the next video. Or watch the video that's coming up on your screen right now. Thanks for watching.